You're always a winner with the Toy Tune Podcast. Available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and where other quality podcasts can be heard.
Hey everybody, ArKay from the Toy Tune. I'm going to talk about sketchbooks for a second. You'll see where this is going. We've all had sketchbooks. Some of us still do. Some of us have to. You know, we keep sketchbooks to draw things and lay out things and ideas and try out all different kinds of things that, you know, sketchbooks are great. They come in different shapes and sizes. Here's one that was given to me one year from work, and just kind of, you know, this one's nice and small. See, this one's not too big, but I get a chance to kind of rough things out. There are some really big ones. Now this one here this one's huge, and depending on what kind of stuff, this one is different from the usual stuff that I do. This is more where I keep more of the abstract ideas, things that I'll cut out, things that I'll try and, I don't know, take a scribble and try to turn it into a piece of digital art. I even have one that goes back as, oh my gosh, I was a teenager, as far back as when I was in art school, and I would just pick up a Flair pen or a Bic pen and just draw anything that came into my head. Kind of like what these sketchbooks are good for. They're good for just kind of roughing out ideas, and you just never know where it's going to lead. What I'm leading up to is the Nintendo 3DS. I've had the 3DS for, I don't know, a couple of years. You may have one. You can get a 3DS, 3DS XL, a 2DS, which is a 3DS without the 3D, whatever. I like the 3D. Willie and I talked about 3D images on the Toy Tune when we talked about the Viewmaster, and we talked about how much we like 3D movies, and you can make your own 3D photos with just a single lens camera, your cell phone camera, just by taking two images slightly off center from each other. You can use a Photoshop filter, all kinds of things. Well, the 3DS, I like it because of the 3D games, of course. It has a built-in 3D camera, which I've messed around with. But there's also a paint program on here called Colors 3D. Now, it's a surprisingly powerful app for under $4. It's like $3.95 or $3.50 or something, I forget, but it's under $4. It's in the e-store. What I like about it is that I should say I have the 3D turned off for the purpose of the video, because it kind of goes wonky in 3D, see? So I have it in 2D. There are plenty of other reviews on YouTube for Colors 3D, and they're done really well. I'm not going to go into as much detail as those. My point is that the 3DS, if you have one, for a couple of bucks, you can get an app like this, and this becomes a sketchbook. When you open it up, Colors 3D by Collective Smiles gives you the option of starting a new painting and picking your orientation. There's landscape, portrait, and widescreen best fit, but I'll go between one or the other. Usually I just do landscape. Now, this is the stylus that comes with the 3DS. It's okay in a pinch, and I have used it, but I did go and, you know, I got this. It's more like a regular stylus or a pen. It's just nothing in there but a plastic nib that I can draw with, but I do like working with this. So once you open up your blank canvas, you can press a shoulder button and you get this is your toolbox that you work with. It's limited, but that's what I like about it. It's like a sketchbook. You have a pencil, you have a brush, you have a bristle brush, and whatever you're doing down here, you can see sample of it up there, and you have an eraser. These are your different tools. These are what you can do with the tools. So when you're using a pencil, you can pick the color that you want. You can pick the hue that you want. Over here, you have sliders so that you can change the width of your pen or brush. You can see it up here. You can see the drop off. And you also have opacity, which is nice because then, since there are different layers, and if I haven't mentioned that, there are different layers that you draw on similar to Photoshop, except that's what gives this its 3D effect. So if you paint in with a transparent brush with one color over another color on a different layer, and then you go for the with the eyedropper tool, you can end up selecting your own colors. So that's basically all you have to draw and paint with as far as creation. You don't have something like that'll make a square or a circle or a heart shape or whatever. Everything, all those geometric shapes, everything, it's just like a pencil and paper. You draw them yourself. You tap on this and you have things like clear canvas, discard your changes. You have flip on the X radius, flip on the Y radius, horizontal, vertical. You have undo, redo. Your shoulder buttons will do the same thing. Here's your 3D, right? And it shows you your different layer options, things that you can do. You can always show all layers. You can hide obstructing layers or only show the current layer. All your layers, once you're drawing, all these layers do show up here so you can see what you're drawing, and I'll show that in a minute. Here's your camera function. Because the Nintendo 3DS has an excellent 1997 cell phone level camera in it. I mean, I wish they had improved the camera in it, but you can use the camera, you can import a photo. Either way will allow you to import an image that you can put on the bottom layer and you can use as a reference, or you can actually include it in your drawing, I suppose, if you want to. And then you have paint with friends so that you can connect with a friend and you can paint at the same time on the same thing. Haven't really ever done that. So anyway, that's your tools. That's pretty much it. You go back here and you can start painting. There it is. Whatever you do down here, you can see up there. And then by using the different buttons, you get to, and I'm not going to go into all that, but you get to go into, and you can see your different layers and how you can draw. Again, so many other videos on YouTube that'll let you do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. I'm saving this masterpiece right now. So what I'm going to do is go into this screen here, which will let me manage my painting. And I'm going to delete this work of art. All gone. Continue. Now here's a couple of paintings that I've done previously. So I'd like to show you something that this app can do, which is really helpful if you like to draw and paint. So I'm loading in a T-Rex that I had drawn, and I did this over a couple of nights. You know, you're sitting around, you're watching TV, I'm doodling. That's typically what I do and do stuff like this. But you have these controls down here, and you have slow, medium, and fast. And I'm going to tap fast. Otherwise, it's going to take a long time to watch this. You can watch this get drawn by hitting the play button, and the slider will go, and there it is at hyperspeed. I'm sketching in the T-Rex. Now, at this point, I can show you there are the different layers. There's the tail and the back foot there, the torso, the front claws, and the head, and then this back piece here is where I'm going to paint the background. So right there you can see the tail being painted. So when you're looking at layers, the layers, you can actually see the layers being filled in. I think it's a pretty nice little feature that they built into this. And it is helpful to watch your drawing, watch your work being done. At any point, you can pause this down here, stop anywhere along the way and say, you know what? I didn't like the way this came out. I'm pausing it right here, and I'm going to pick up and start painting from this point on. So you have the option to kind of go back in time, sort of like a mega undo. So anyway, you get to watch yourself draw. You're not really seeing every tool or how you use the tool or whatever, but you are seeing the cursor, and you are seeing the paintbrush or the eraser or whatever. And right now it's at top speed painting the T-Rex. I wish I had some background music to play while this was being done, but I don't. So I'm on the, I guess the middle layer there doing the torso. This layer, this torso layer here is in front of the tail layer. And it really does. If you could see this in 3D for real, you would see how it's a very effective illusion. And if you don't want to sit through this, I suppose you can always just fast forward your control on YouTube. I did find that, I've been drawing for years, but I did find that even watching this recording of a drawing, it was interesting. I could kind of figure out what I was thinking and why I changed things, why I erased things, started over again. So at this point, I think I'm done. I'm going to attempt a background. And again, this is all being painted on the very back layer there. I didn't like it. I erased it, and I did a whole new one. Because it's on the back layer, it doesn't affect any of the layers above it, so it doesn't touch the illustration of the T-Rex. Once I had the background in, and it was a paler background than what I had originally wanted to do, I figured that the foreground, the T-Rex, needed more contrast. So that's kind of an advantage. You get to change your mind, you get to see how you think, how you draw. I find this, hey, for $3.50, I find this a pretty decent app for the 3DS. Again, it's a small size sketch pad that you can take with you. I can put that almost anywhere and take it with me. The painting can be saved to the SD card in the 3DS. You can bring it into your computer, and you can print them out almost any size. So that's my look at the Colors 3D by Collective Smiles for the Nintendo 3DS. If you have a 3DS, I recommend this. Even if you just like to draw, even if you don't draw that well, it doesn't really matter. You can have a lot of fun with this. So I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching.
Oh boy! Yeah!
Hey, there's Hasbro! Hasbro makes toys! What's new, Hasbro?
Pretty sneaky, sis.
Remember, you can tell it's Mattel. It's
Okay, let him go! Some of the great SSP racers for 72.
M-A-R-X spells Mark, world's largest toy maker.
Remember, every boy wants a Remco toy, and so do girls. And remember, if it isn't Duncan, it isn't.